things have gone beyond HLL in the Shamea versus Porsha of it all, and Porsha has a scathing response on social media. Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, anything I say is alleged and in my very, very personal opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only. None of this is personal. The Copyright Act of 1976 is in the description box. Some meat and potatoes, some housekeeping items. So, today we are talking Love Island USA Season 8. Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 17. And you know what I'm saying? The gloves have been off, y'all. The gloves have been off in regards to the Shamea versus the Porsha of it all. And I feel like Bravo has to step in. I feel like Bravo has to step in. I do not see a situation where Porsha and Shamea can still be on the show together. I don't see it. Because ultimately, if we're at the point where you're supposedly a childhood best friend that is bringing up children and bringing up parents into the beef, when the reality of the issue is that Shamea cannot accept the fact that she is not liked by the fans, that she cannot take over Porsha's spot. She's held on to all of these grudges because she was never in the position to be a peach holder. And whatever time she alleged that she was offered a peach, for whatever reason, she turned it down. That's not on me. If that happened, that's on you that you chose to turn it down. But it doesn't negate the fact that even as the friend of, you were still talking cash SHIT about Porsha. And it gets to a point where Shamea's bringing up all this stuff that Porsha has said in the past, but y'all haven't been friends in a couple of years, at least. So if you are bringing up that at some point in time, Porsha may have said in the past about, you know what I'm saying, her not wanting you to be a peach holder on the show. This is her thing. She's fine with you in the friend of capacity, but she really just wants this to be something for her. If you guys were not close and then you conveniently come back around once you see the platform Porsha has on Housewives, but you're not really her bestie, you ease your way in to become Candy's bestie because Candy has the clout and the money and the opportunities that you were looking for. And you stand around all of these people who bash your so-called childhood friend all these years. SLUT shame her and all the things. And because, you know what I'm saying, the show, Porsha was the peach holder this whole time, people who didn't like Porsha, they just latched on to, oh, you know what I'm saying, Porsha's a bad friend to Shamea. Why didn't she do this for Shamea? But y'all never look at the other side. Y'all never look at the side of somebody who is holding resentment, who is trying to carry on all of these beefs all of a sudden. Because my thing is, if you have an actual issue with Porsha as it pertains to the show, you could have presented that last season, you could have presented that this season. But you started talking about Porsha to the other housewives, to Britt Edie you were showing text messages to Kelly, to Angela Oakley, and saying, oh yeah, I still have an issue that she didn't go to my wedding in Kenya. I still have an issue about this that has happened 10 years ago, and da-da-da-da-da. And this was news to Porsha because Porsha thought that y'all resolved it. Fast forward to this season, Porsha's paid you dust. Porsha has realized you're an op. You came on this show to be a peach holder to take Porsha's spot. You try to make it seem that Porsha didn't advocate for you to be a peach holder, but Andy Cohen said that Porsha did. So are you going to call Andy Cohen a liar? Are you going to call Andy Cohen a liar? Are you going to call the network a liar that Porsha never advocated for you? So, nonetheless, this season, Porsha really and Shamea barely interact, with the exception of the first episode, and that was because Porsha had an event at her house that she invited Shamea to. And so Shamea thought she was doing something, showing up there late with Pinky, and y'all were spilling drinks at Porsha's home and all of the things. And you're like, well, I'm not really going to interact with her because I'm mad about a text exchange that we had. And I believe the text exchange you're upset about is because of the reunion when you, I guess, somehow missed that Porsha said that she kissed Candy and you kissed Candy as well, that it apparently caused some problems at home. And y'all and Porsha got into it. But then Porsha said in the first episode, did we not have a conversation after that? Did we not have a conversation after that text exchange and resolve the issues? And you said yes. But then you go on Carlos King and say the reason that you showed up is that if you don't go to an all-cast event, you're basically not going to be in the scene. You're basically not going to get paid. It is what you said. So I'm expecting at some point y'all to have a conversation, y'all to have an interaction if it's bothering you this bad. But Porsha paid you dust this season. Porsha's paid you dust. None of the other housewives over these past couple of seasons can say, oh yeah, Porsha's talking bad about Shamea behind her back. Porsha's even walking out of scenes if people are even discussing you. She's not even sitting there to give a reaction. But you, on the other hand, will do the eye roll, will do the side eye. And you had your little alliance try to attack Porsha with K. Michelle and Kelly leading the charge. And then when the block got too hot, y'all backed off. Then you go to Cynthia's and allege that your daughter and Porsha's daughter are still having play dates and that it is Dennis that is, you know what I'm saying, bringing them over. But the issue at hand was you felt justified in not inviting Porsha to your husband's surprise birthday party, but it was okay for you to invite Dennis, and then you make a jab that you were fine inviting Simon as well, if Simon was in the country. And you still wanted, you know, the kids to have play dates, but it sounds like from your Carlos King interview, you're grieving all the time the fallout of this friendship with Porsha. Because Porsha has ignored you up until the Scotland trip. And so then what has happened is you get agitated when the cast makes up with each other. Because anybody that is still rocking with Porsha, whether it is Drew Sidora, whether it is Cynthia Bailey, whether it is Phaedra Parks, and really Angela Oakley, I don't feel like she's necessarily team Porsha, but I feel as though if it came down to a decision between Shamea or Porsha, she would choose Porsha instead of you. You know what I'm saying? And you feel a way about that, which is why you made fun of Cynthia and Drew, calling them the Go Naked models, that they have to pledge allegiance to Porsha. And you really crashed out. You were mad when everyone else was making up but you and Porsha, right? You were mad when Drew and Angela resolved their issues. You were mad when Angela and Phaedra resolved their issues. You didn't like that. And now, I believe the reason for your crash out, this is just my opinion, is because Porsha and Kelly resolved their issues. And you couldn't take that because that's a part, you know what I'm saying? That's the person that you're sponsoring now. Allegedly, right? That's the person that you got up in a townhome. Heck, at this point, you and Gerald might be Jarvis. You know what I'm saying? So you're looking at it like, I'm funding this whole lifestyle for Kelly, and her and Porsha are cool, and me and Porsha still are not cool. Oh no, we can't have that. I gotta burn everything down. I have to burn everything down and try anything and everything to try to get this cast against Porsha. And that is why Porsha said, I didn't know at the time what she was talking about when she said on Carlos King that Shamea said and did something, that it was at the point of no return. Fast forward to Sunday's episode. where Shamea makes scathing allegations about Porsha. Well, first she doesn't go into it that way, right? First she wants to use Pilar as a way to make it seem that, you know, it's not fair to involve the kids. As if that's not what y'all mamas have done. Haven't y'all mamas did that, right? Haven't they fallen out? And as a result, you have fallen out. So it was already going to be passed on. So if your moms have fallen out, and then you and Porsha have fallen out, why would you still want your daughter and Porsha's daughter to have play dates? Make it make sense. And so Porsha is like, why would I have my daughter still be around you with if you have all this hate for me? If you have all this hate for me, if we were really childhood friends, you have not picked up the phone to call me for real and resolve the beef. But then because you're mad, Porsha has ignored you, and that the cast has not turned against Porsha, the fans have not turned against Porsha, you want to just bring everything to the forefront. And so then when the daughter angle didn't work, right? Then you try the approach of trying to come for Porsha's mom. But what you didn't expect was then Porsha came for your mom. So then when that didn't work, you then try to bring up, oh, well, there's people on your glam team that are saying this and saying that, or whatever the case may be, about not wanting you to be a peach holder and all this and all of that. They're the same stuff that you said last season. And it didn't land. It didn't land. It didn't go the way you wanted it to go. So you run out of the scene. You run out of the scene. Kelly goes and catches you, and you have a full-on breakdown and start crying. No. If you can dish it out, but not take it, just say that, right? Just say that. But what has happened since the episode is there's some division among the fans, right? Because ultimately, there's people who do not like Porsha no matter what. And there are people who see through Shamea. And unfortunately, what has happened as a result of the episode is Porsha's entire family is being attacked. Lauren was on Threads basically saying, listen, if you're going to come for me and my family, at least go buy some Go Naked hair. And I was like Lauren doesn't even, you know what I'm saying? Lauren's not even in this. Porsha's mom's being attacked. Her entire family's being attacked. Her whole relationship with Sway's being attacked. I believe she's on vacation with Sway in the Bahamas. They're coming for her daughter, attacking her daughter, attacking Porsha's entire family, all because you, Shamea, wanted to bring up Porsha's daughter and bring up Porsha's mother in y'all beef. But you cannot articulate what the actual beef is within the last 2 years that Porsha did to you that was so wrong. Everything you are bringing up are issues that are in the past. Grudges that you've held this whole time. And your only real issue now is you thought you could come on this show and take Porsha's position. And you are upset that you do not have that support from the cast to take Porsha's position. That's what this is about. You want Porsha's spot. It's not enough of you for you to be a friend on the show, for you to have a peach holder. You want Porsha's spot. You want Porsha off this show. You wanted Porsha to fight you or throw something at you, to get herself kicked off the show or get herself removed. You were hoping, you know what I'm saying, to have a moment that Porsha would no longer be associated with this franchise. And it didn't work. And then you make these allegations and run away like a child. No. And so what has happened is Porsha is on vacation in the Bahamas and she is seeing all this hate. And so now, you know what I'm saying? Everything is out there. Now there's no holds barred. But my thing is, I don't know why you would go this route with a childhood friend that also has your tea as well, that also knows information about you as well. So let's get into what Porsha had to say. Porsha says, wait, just catching up here in the Bahamas. Yo, I can't believe there are actually people talking about my mother and mentioning my daughter in a negative way. Was this really worth it? Shamea took this way too far. You're not innocent while you've got people discussing my mom because of a lie you told on this show. If we're going to discuss it, keep it between us. Now let's discuss you. Sleeping with your manager who is married to one of your high school friends, as well as a pastor, not a pastor again, in Decatur, who's 100% on your roster, along with many more. Hashtag let's go. Hashtag Real Housewives of Atlanta. So again, I asked the question, Shamea, was all of this worth it? Was all of this worth it? But because you already had the issue when you were trying to bring up Angela Oakley's husband being outside, and then she took it to HELL and made accusations about you with the Hawks players, the Falcons players, the NBA, the NFL, all the things. You know what I'm saying? You ended up sending her a cease and desist, allegedly. And Angela still drug you, allegedly, at the reunion, according to Andy Cohen. And Neil, because Porsha has ignored you all season, and probably I feel production told you that you've given nothing this season, that Kelly's given more than you. You had to go for the low blow. You had to go for the jugular, which is attack Porsha's daughter and attack Porsha's mother. And you thought there was not going to be consequences. And for people who are cheering this on, you know what I'm saying? Just because of the fact you don't like Porsha is crazy to me. Because I want to see how you feel if an alleged former friend of yours starts attacking your family like this, starts making up salacious allegations about your family. I want to see what your response is going to be. Are you just going to sit back and let it rock? Or are you just not going to do anything? I want to know. Or is it because it's Shamea versus Porsha, you want to defend her? And then for the people who are like, oh, Porsha's a liar, she's lied about stuff, but so has Shamea. So has all of these housewives. They've all lied about stuff. But y'all want to pick and choose, you know what I'm saying, when y'all want to identify liars. But Shamea, the mom stuff started because of you. You brought it to the show. Porsha's post about the moms was after you decided to bring this on to the show. You know what I'm saying? And even at the reunion last season, the extent that Porsha was willing to go was about the daycare. But outside of that, even you said, Shamea, if we go beyond that of what the real issue with the mamas are, it's going to go too far. But because you are getting nothing from Porsha and you are upset about your position on the show, where now K. Michelle sees through you, Pinky, you know what I'm saying, it is getting in closer with you know, Angela Oakley and Porsha and all the things. And then you saw Kelly and Porsha make up. You felt like you were on an island. And you thought by trying to do this was going to bring the cast on your side. But like I've said in other videos, if you can do this to your childhood friend, why should any of these other castmates be on your side? So you think you're this desperate for fame that now you want to go toe-to-toe with Porsha, who also knows your business as well. And up until this point, has not put out your business. Has not put out your tea. Make it make sense. has been trying to give you all this grace. But you decided, I'm not happy with my position on the show. I've got to try this one last thing to try to get people to like me. And you go for the lowest of blows against Porsha's daughter and Porsha's mother. And that tells me how vindictive, how low you are willing to go to be seen on this show as an it girl. And I have no respect for that. I have zero respect for that. For somebody who played in Porsha's face all these years and only came back around the time you saw Porsha's profile on Housewives. And ultimately, she was at her lowest, dealing with the fallout of her divorce from Cordell, where she literally lost everything and had to rebuild. That was not a time for you to say, oh my gosh, I really want to be a peach holder on Housewives, like you. No. That was supposed to be a time for you to be an actual supportive friend. But again, you saw the platform that Porsha had and pretended to be her friend, so that eventually, whenever you did get a peach, you could turn on her just like you're doing now, Shamea. And it didn't matter how many seasons it was going to take. And that, to me, shows me your character, your lack of morals, and your lack of integrity. You never liked Porsha. So there was never going to be a situation where y'all could be real besties. But up until you became a page holder, you wanted to convince the world that that was your best friend. And you're doing all the same things that you did for Porsha, that you're now doing for Callie. Allegedly setting her up with somebody. You set her up with a married man. And people are dragging Porsha, but where's your morals and integrity? Even Phaedra said back in season 8, season 9, that you would be coming out the St. Regis with people. You know what I'm saying? So it's really the audacity that y'all want to go for the jugular and shame other people and attack other people as if y'all have, you know what I'm saying, clean and pure, you know what I'm saying, that there's nothing in your past. But I just don't see a situation. If Shamea comes back, really now, it's going to be a bloodbath of her and Porsha just trading all of the most whatever back and forth of who they've been with, who they slept with, who they've done X, Y, and Z with, and potentially even more tea about their mothers. And it's just going to go to H-double-L. And then what's going to happen is these other housewives are just going to sit back. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be like, well, you know what I'm saying? Well, we'll just let them have it because this is too much for me. Because you can't, as a cast member, go this low on a show. It's too much. It is too far. So that's it for this video. That is all that I got, y'all. I need y'all to do me the biggest favor, and that is to hype the video. Hype the video, please. There's that. That is it. That is all. It's todos es final. It's finito. It's the end of the road. It's the end line for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.